She slammed the notice onto the playground gate. No children allowed. I froze. Swings hung empty, slides abandoned, laughter silenced midair, little feet stopped in shock. Parents stared, mouths open, unsure what to say, some whispered, some gasped. Across the street, she stood, arms crossed, smirk on her face, watching, waiting, as if she owned the joy itself. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't just a rule, it was a battle waiting to explode. I stepped back, staring at the notice, heart pounding. How could one person have so much control over a place meant for laughter and play? Rumors had floated around before, whispers about Karen's obsession with rules and order, but no one imagined she'd go this far. Across the street, neighbors peeked from their windows, some shaking their heads, others whispering, "She's lost it this time." That day, I had no idea what she was about to do next. Every creak of a swing, every murmur of children waiting outside felt like a ticking clock. I tried calling the HOA office, lines busy, emails ignored, nothing. And then, a knock at my door. It was Mrs. Thompson from 2 houses down, clutching her child's backpack tightly. "It's happening," she whispered, eyes wide. "She's making rounds, checking who lets their kids play." My stomach sank as I looked at the silent playground, the laughter replaced by tension, and realized, this wasn't just a rule, it was war. I sank onto the porch, holding my son close, his small hands gripping mine, eyes wide with fear and confusion. I promised him this playground, this little patch of joy, was ours to enjoy. I worked long hours at the fire department, barely had time for myself, but I always made time for him, teaching him to ride his bike, cheering at every small victory, laughing together on weekends. This playground wasn't just a space, it was a piece of our childhood, our memories, our freedom. As I looked across the street, I saw the same fear mirrored in other families' eyes, neighbors peeking from windows, children holding hands nervously. The swings were empty, slides abandoned, and a strange silence hung over what was once a lively, joyful corner of our neighborhood. I couldn't help but think about Karen, the woman who claimed she was protecting the community. What kind of protection silences children, strips joy, and spreads fear? But there was one thing I clung to, hope. Hope that our neighborhood, our community, would come together. Hope that parents, children, and neighbors united could reclaim not just a playground, but the freedom to laugh, play, and be a family. That day, I made a promise, we wouldn't back down, not for the kids, not for ourselves. Just when we thought it couldn't get worse, I discovered the truth. Karen, the woman claiming authority over the playground, wasn't even officially part of the HOA. Every notice, every warning, every threat, forged. She had created them herself, signed them herself, pretending to wield power she didn't have. My heart sank, but then anger surged. She had been manipulating the neighborhood, spreading fear, and making families question themselves, all while laughing behind the scenes. I confronted her across the street, trying to remain calm. "Who gave you the right?" I asked, voice shaking. She smirked, cold and sharp. "The right? I don't need anyone's permission. I'm just making sure this neighborhood stays perfect." Her eyes darted to the swings, the slides, the empty sandbox. "And perfect neighborhoods don't have children running around unsupervised." That's when it hit me, it wasn't about safety, or rules, it was about control. And worse, some neighbors, scared and confused, had already started keeping their kids indoors, thinking she was right. I froze, realizing that if we didn't act fast, the playground, and the joy it brought, could be lost forever. But deep down, I knew one thing, she had underestimated us, the people who truly cared about our community, and that mistake would be her downfall. Just when it seemed Karen had all the power, something unbelievable happened. Mr. Delgado, the quiet neighbor who rarely spoke, revealed he had secretly been documenting everything, hidden cameras at the playground, recordings of Karen threatening parents, even conversations where she laughed about scaring families into compliance. I couldn't believe it, the neighborhood now had proof of her lies, her forged notices, and her obsession with control. Then my phone buzzed. It was Mrs. Patel, holding her child's backpack like a little alarm bell. She's trying to convince more neighbors, but I sent the recordings to everyone, she whispered. Suddenly, fear turned into action. Neighbors began sharing the truth, realizing Karen's authority was fake. And that wasn't all. I discovered she had tried to manipulate the HOA bylaws to give herself the power to fine anyone letting their kids play, but she had misfiled it. The law, ironically, was on our side. The playground, our memories, and our families, all of it could be defended. For the first time, hope surged through me. The chaos she thought would break us was about to unite us. And I knew the real showdown was coming. The day came when Karen tried another inspection, striding to the playground with her forged notices, confident and smug. But the neighborhood was ready. Families gathered, standing shoulder to shoulder with their children, kids holding hands, parents holding leashes, backpacks, and determination. The air crackled with tension. She faltered, confused by the sheer numbers. Then Mr. Delgado played the recordings over a small speaker, every lie, every threat, every forged signature, echoing across the silent street. Gasps, murmurs, and finally, outrage. Karen's face turned pale. She tried to defend herself, to claim authority, but documents, witnesses, and the law surrounded her like a wall. One by one, neighbors spoke, recounting her harassment, her threats, and the fear she spread. In the end, justice prevailed. Karen was stripped of influence, banned from future HOA meetings, and the playground, our families, our children, were safe again. I watched my son run toward the swings, his laughter echoing across the yard, and realized this victory wasn't just about the playground. It was about standing up for what's right, for love, for family, and for every neighbor who had felt powerless. That day, our community had won. As the sun dipped behind the houses, the playground buzzed with life again, swings creaked, slides squeaked, laughter filled the air. Children ran freely, parents cheered, and neighbors smiled at each other, united. But I knew, this wasn't just about swings and slides. It was about truth, courage, and standing up for what's right. I held my son close as he whispered, "We did it, Dad." And I smiled, knowing we had done more than reclaim a playground, we had reclaimed our community, our freedom, our joy. That day, I realized power doesn't belong to the loudest, or the cruelest, it belongs to those who stand together, with heart, courage, and justice on their side. And as I watched the neighborhood come alive again, I whispered a line I will never forget. They tried to take our joy, but all they did was show us how strong we really are. The playground, our laughter, our freedom, would never be silenced again. Every neighborhood has its secrets, and every Karen leaves her mark. If you love true HOA stories like this, make sure to watch more on our channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life neighborhood drama. Thank you.